What the heck is Formula One?
Pole position, strategy,
yachts and parties,
safety car, Ferrari.
beautiful corners.
Oh, right, okay. There's a car in front of you. Try and overtake it.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Hello, you fools. Welcome back to another Formula Fools podcast. I'm David, your self-appointed expert, and with me is Skin, who is the local fool on the podcast.
Hello.
Back to the OG intro because, you know, you can't ruin what is already good.
That's a real common saying, Dave. Yep.
These intros just get better and better every week.
Oh, well done, my friend.
People must just tune out straight after the intro because they're like, that's Dave's best gear that he's got.
I believe it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's what I was trying to say, but it didn't come to, I'm an idiot.
Didn't quite do it.
No. From pit lane antics to racing riddles, we're here to make you laugh and question your sanity. Sit back, buckle up. It's time for Formula Fools. We don't have the thing anymore, Skin. Don't worry. I could see you're twitching with excitement.
What happened?
For the,
I know. Why have you not got it?
Oh, we just ditched it a long time ago when we started using this setup.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Just figured it was like time for a change.
That's a good change, Dave.
Yeah, we could bring it back.
No.
That's the wrong thing. It's on the button. Okay, we've got Orion's hot lap recap, so let's hit that jingle.
The race is over. It's that time in the show for the hot lap recap. Let's go.
I still reckon you could consider a similar change there, but that's all right.
Oh, Skin.
All right, my foolish friends, it's your hot lap recap from Austria this time, where McLaren made the Red Bull Ring their personal playground, and Max Verstappen's title hopes went up in delicious, glorious smoke. Lando Norris, bouncing back from his Montreal mishap, fended off teammate Oscar Piastri for a crucial McLaren 1-2. The win slashes their championship gap to just 15 points. We've officially got a little title scrap brewing, my friends. Yes, we have. Oh, goody. That is assuming that they can keep both of their cars on the track pointing in the right direction, though. The early drama came from Kimi Antonelli, didn't it? Who took out Max Verstappen on lap one with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. The 18-year-old Mercedes rookie locked up at turn 3, ploughed into Max's Red Bull, and ended both of their races instantly. See, it's not nice, is it, Max, when people do it to you? Ooh. Antonelli apologised for his mistake, earning a 3-place grid penalty for Silverstone. Ooh, that's going to hurt. Though Max probably had more colourful words for Mr. Antonelli at the end of the race. And with Verstappen gone, the McLarens put on a masterclass. Yeah. Piastri briefly managed to snatch the lead on lap 11 after a Norris mistake, but Lando fought back pretty much straight away. Oscar then tried a kamikaze dive bomb at turn 4 on lap 20, locking up his tyres and nearly rear-ending his teammate. Yes, go careful, Dave. But this time he did manage to keep it clean. There was shades of Montreal in there, and his team pit wall crew came on the radio as well and said, yo, no more of those 50-50s, please. And then, with Piastri on fresher tyres by a lap, he started reeling Norris in that second part of the race. McLaren actually discovered that there was front wing damage on Lando's car. Must have been done while he was hitting those curbs. And with 10 laps to go, the gap was down to just 2 seconds. And Norris was on the radio pleading for some help. Please, he said, find me some speed. And a late scare, do you see this, saw Franco Colapinto edge Piastri onto the grass. But Oscar managed to recover, kept his car pointing in a forwards direction and managed to stabilise it. And then Norris also stabilised the gap as well to 2 seconds, just enough to take that checkered flag. And behind the papaya parade, Charles Leclerc cruised to a lonely third for Ferrari, with Lewis Hamilton equally isolated in a pretty boring race in fourth. Lewis even managed to have a bit of a brief radio spat. Did you catch this one with his engineer? Ignoring a strategy call, proving that even 7-time world champions don't always get their way. George Russell was a distant fifth for Mercedes, and I think they finished over a minute behind the winner. And the day's best racing came from Liam Lawson and Fernando Alonso, who were battling nose to tail all race on a one-stop strategy. And Alonso even had to fend off his own protege, old Gabriel Bortoleto. Alonso is his manager, and Bortoleto brilliantly scored his first F1 points for Sauber in 8th. And I must mention this, speaking of Sauber, after I called them rubbish a few weeks ago, did you remember that? They've now scored in 3 straight races with a double points finish this time. Nico Hülkenberg backing up Bortoleto in 9th. So those upgrades, chef's kiss, are working very well. And in 9th, in 9th, Esteban Ocon grabbed the final point for Haas. Clearly, my criticism was the motivation that Kick Sauber needed. You are very welcome, boys. And in a delicious twist of irony, Williams matched Red Bull's success this weekend by being absolutely terrible. Carlos Sainz car caught fire before the start, while Alex Albon retired with mechanical issues. And Red Bull's own misery was completed when not only did Max Verstappen get knocked out, but Yuki Tsunoda collected a penalty and finished last on their home track. It does make you wonder, doesn't it, if Red Bull's dominance was more about Max being just an awesome driver than the actual car itself, because no one has been able to fit in that second seat and do a good job since Daniel Ricciardo. So, the title fight is properly on. Norris cuts the gap to 15 points. McLaren are the class of the field again, and Verstappen is a shocking 61 points off the lead now. Next up, it's Silverstone, yes, the British Grand Prix, where Lando will hope for a home win. The only real question is whether Oscar will let him. I'm Ryan, that's your Hot Lap recap, and I'm here to remind you that in F1, just as in Austrian hospitality, sometimes it's always best to let the fat cats battle it out at the front while you sit back and enjoy the scenes from a comfortable distance. See you later.
He complained straight away after sending me that one that it was so hot because England's having a mini heat wave. And by mini, I mean literally for 2 days.
Right. How hot did it get?
32 degrees. No.
Tough gig.
Yeah, them British summers, God, they get you. Okay, so Ryan did mention quite a few things in there. We'll cover qualifying first. Pierre Gasly threw up a bit of drama for everyone in qualifying, meaning that Liam outqualified Max for P6. Max got where did Max got, like P8?
I thought it was 7.
Oh, 7 then, okay.
Could be wrong.
Yeah, well, behind Liam.
Behind Liam,
Yeah. So drama for Red Bull and Racing Bulls, but we'll get onto them a little bit later. Also didn't help out Oscar. Oscar was on a faster lap or was going to go for a faster lap, and Pierre's yellow flags meant that he couldn't.
Yep.
Lando, biggest pole of the season so far. Shit. Easy, Skid.
You can't be saying things like that on air.
Oh, sorry, Skid.
Disc.
Sorry, what I meant to say was Lando secured the biggest first place margin
Yes.
with a 0.5 gap to Leclerc
Yes.
in second.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant to
Very
say.
good. Impressive stuff.
Yeah. And then, on to the race. Williams just dominated the DNFs. Carlos's brakes seized up and...
Yeah, so what's happened there? Because it was like, so something happens presumably to start the formation lap, and he just didn't get the memo, and he's sat there doing nothing.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know what happened at this. It's really confusing because like his brakes catching fire is one thing.
Yeah.
Like that's
Not a great thing.
not great. No, it's not a great thing, but like we see it happen. But the fact that his brakes were fully seized or his axle was fully seized and he couldn't move, and the brakes didn't catch on fire then, and then he did a lap, and then when he stopped, they caught on fire. That's a very weird scenario for him. So no clue what happened, but something very bad happened.
Right. Okay.
But a major brake failure, which obviously then stopped him from even starting the race.
Mm.
I don't know if that would class as DNS though.
Well, he ended up doing the formation lap, didn't he?
Yeah, that's
Does
what I'm
that
saying.
count as starting?
Well, I don't know. He took to the formation lap, so I don't know. Interesting one. Anyone that does know, leave us a comment or drop us a message on Instagram because I have no clue.
It's not great that your car can just catch on fire, hey?
No, that doesn't usually help when you want to like compete for points. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, yeah.
Do you know what else doesn't help? Get into like looking fairly comfortable in like P7, P8 in the top 10, and then on lap 16, having to retire because your car overheats and your engine just breaks.
Yeah.
That also sucks.
So that was Alex.
Yeah, that was the other Williams.
And so he qualified in P12
Yeah.
and got all the way up. I think he was P6 at one stage.
Yeah, he was ahead of Liam.
Yeah. And so Carlos had done whatever he'd done, and I was getting excited, like, mate, Williams is gonna, he's on.
Yeah, literally. When I saw his pit, I was like, wow, we're being aggressive with strategy as well.
Yeah, and then just got parked up, called it a day.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I don't know. I saw him pit, and I was like, okay, we're pitting early, but like, you know, we might be a bit aggressive. And then I saw the little box next to his name change to in pits again, and I was like, oh shit. This is like twice in 3 laps. This isn't good. And then the radio message popped up and it was like, yeah, retire the car. I was like, oh. So yeah, that sucked.
That did suck.
Yeah. That's why I'm not wearing any Williams merch today. In fact, get rid of this hat that we don't deserve. We don't deserve a Williams hat and shot for this one.
Okay.
No, we do. I love them. So yeah, that sucked for Williams. But McLaren on the other end of the spectrum, McLaren absolutely fucking dominated. 1-2. It's, I don't know how many 1-2 finishes they've had this season, but it's another one to the tally. And I think I heard the commentator say it was the first time McLaren had won in Austria since like 2002 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So huge news from them. Well done.
Yes. Yeah, it was good.
I mean, they also have the best car this year.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it does make a
Best
lot of
car,
sense.
Two very good drivers.
Yeah. What did you make to
Cool.
McLaren or Piastri or Norris's performances?
They both look great. Obviously, Oscar overtaking Leclerc straight away is pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And then getting to watch them actually race for quite a while and not crash into each other was sick. I mean,
There were some close calls.
Yeah, it was cool to watch. I mean, I don't know anything about racing, so I wasn't really sure what all the maneuvers that were happening were. Like, Oscar got past Lando for a little while, and I thought, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I obviously have a little bit of a bias towards the Australian.
Yeah, obviously.
And then he immediately lost it.
I think it was just good moves all around. Like, I think Oscar was battling well and putting the pressure on him, putting the pressure on Lando, like in really good positions. But personally, I think this was Lando's best race we've seen this season. I think the way that he was defending against Piastri and then the way he defended and kind of switched it straight back to an attack on Oscar to maintain that first place it was very good driving from Lando.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is either going to be a turning point for his season and potentially his career, this race, or it's going to be just like a kind of one in a million kind of races for Lando. But it was a very good race. It was really good to watch both of them battle like that. And yeah, Lando's defensive maneuvers. I think Austria is one of them tracks. It's one of these tracks where and we saw it a lot up and down the field where you can throw a dive bomb down the inside, but then you can then go deep and carry too much speed and the other car can try a switch back and get you into the next corner. It's quite a good flowy track like that. So Lando just kind of used that to his advantage and got that first place back, which gave him priority for the pits, which kind of decided the race, that first pit stop.
Yeah, it did seem like it, because it kind of felt like Oscar was probably quicker for a decent chunk of the race.
Pretty much the whole race, even in the last stint, he was quicker.
Yeah, like he was always sort of, reducing the gap between them, like he was catching Lando up. Yeah. But he just didn't get the priority for that pit stop. Is that right? The team just decided that, essentially just gave it to whoever's in front. Yeah, it sounded, I mean, it's quite common with team strategy, especially on a race that's going to be tight between the two drivers. It's always kind of like, okay, if we're going to pit, let's just say hypothetically lap 20, by lap 17, whoever, or 18 or whatever, whoever is in front is that they get the priority pit stop and we hold position from that lap. I don't think they necessarily had that. Obviously, we don't know what goes on in the briefings, but Oscar tried that move on the lap before they pitted, which was a bit of a day late and a dollar short kind of thing. But he tried that move to get the pit stop priority. And we heard the radio message to Lando saying, if we're ahead at the pit stop, we'll pit, or if we're ahead at this lap, we're going to pit. If we're behind, we'll try and extend, which is then what we saw Oscar do, which was the wrong strategy. Like, it didn't work out. But
it was great. Like, it was good to hear even the engineers getting behind the driver and encouraging the driver to attack the other person or defend it, like, you know, to have a better race for them.
Yeah.
It
seemed like a genuine race. Like it almost felt like two separate teams, like with the engineer in the driver's ear talking about like the other car, how to defend against the other car and how to like sort of slow down their race and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're really racing against each other, but then I guess there's just no way around that, like the pit stop situation. Like you sort of have to make a team decision at the pit stops, do you? Because there's just one.
Yeah, there's one. There's just one pit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if budget constraints weren't a thing, then we would, you know, and fucking tracks were like main straights and pit stops were like 10 miles long. They would have unlimited pit stops and unlimited pit crews, so they could run one car, one pit crew kind of thing. But yeah, that's just racing, and it's unlucky for Oscar in this situation because he's the one that kind of lost out because of it. But it's also like, you know, do a better lap, get on pole, get that track position earlier. Oscar knew that that's what he needed to do, and he fucking put up a good fight to try and get that. And I think he kind of knew that without that track position, it was going to be harder to win the race, certainly after the first pit stop.
Yep. The other thing that was a bit unlucky for Oscar in the race was his issue with Alpine.
Yes.
Toward the back end of the race, I think it was Colapinto just sort of ran him off the track.
Yeah.
Oscar ended up, I think it was like 2.6 seconds behind Lando.
Yep.
How costly do you think that incident was at all?
No, I don't think it was. He had caught him significantly during them few laps because of back markers, but you know, it may have cost him half a second, 7/10 or something, which would have potentially put him in the DRS, which might have allowed him to attack. But realistically, I think, you know, getting in that DRS against your teammate is one thing, and then trying to actually overtake him like we saw in the first part is another thing. So yeah, you know, I think his comments go deeper than just that move though, because it was Gasly in qualifying in the other Alpine who caused him to not be able to do another lap. So I think it was overall this weekend, Alpine fucked him. Like, I think it was a deep message from Oscar, and it's the first time we've kind of seen frustration from him. But no, I don't think that would have cost him the win.
Okay.
No skin. Did you also see Christian Horner after the race? I can't remember who it was with, but I saw this quote and it made me laugh. So in regards to the McLaren situation, we heard Leclerc's engineer saying, like, telling him to like lift and coast early doors. And Christian Horner after the race said, he's basically making love to his fucking exhaust pipe lap after lap after lap, and their tires are not dying. Like the McLaren's tires aren't dying.
Right.
Just thought it was interesting how he worded it.
I don't know. That is an interesting way to put words together. I don't understand even what he means. What does it mean to make love to an exhaust pipe? I assume not literally.
No, not literally. So like in racing, we'll say if someone's like right. Oh God, how do you say this without any kind of sexual innuendo? If you are following another car, you could say he's right up my arse or he's right on his tail.
Okay.
Kind of vibes. So I think that's what he's insinuating, is that they were nose to tail for a very long time in that first stint, and Piastri's tires did not seem to be bothered by it.
Gotcha.
Whereas we were seeing everyone else on the grid, if they were within 2 seconds, their tires were getting cooked.
Okay.
So yeah,
gotcha.
I think that's more what he's referring to, but he's gone very explicit with his quote there.
Okay. Thank you, Dev.
Kick Sauber also had a strong performance. I thought we would front load this podcast with the good shit. I know we spoke about Williams first, but it's just Williams, you know, we're gurus. Kick Sauber had a strong performance. Gabriel Bortoleto achieved his first F1 points with a P8.
Mm-hmm.
Great race from him. He got driver of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also qualified P8.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Was it P8 or P9?
I think he qualified P8, finished P8.
Fuck yeah. Go Gabriel.
Which, I mean, it's good.
It's fucking great from Kick Sauber.
Oh, it's great for a Kick Sauber.
Yeah.
It's not normally the definition of driver of the day, though, finishing where you started.
No. I think it's more that, like, he's the first Brazilian since 2017 to score points. He's the 21st Brazilian in history to score points, and it's his first points. So people are just going to, like, smash that.
Gotcha.
Smash that vote button, I guess.
Gotcha.
Completely overshadowed his teammate, who came from 20th to P9,
Yes.
and
which
didn't
is
get
like
driver of the day.
normally the definition of driver of the day.
Literally, like, couldn't have deserved it more. Yeah, he had a great race and wasn't even in the top 3 for driver of the day.
Loose. Isn't that 3 races in a row? I feel like we're talking about Hulkenberg a lot. Is he suddenly like really? I assume he's always been pretty good.
He's always been a great driver. He's just
Always been in a slow car.
He's always been in a slow car. He lost his seat. He had a season out of, or maybe even a season and a half or 2 seasons, something out of F1, and then got the seat back at Kick Sauber, and everyone was like, really? And then he fucking showed up and is still showing up now. And he's an older driver on the grid. Like, he's one of the older guys there. Audi must be very fucking happy with the lineup they've got for next season. Both them 2 drivers look sick. Hulkenberg is potentially performing at the peak of his career at this point, and Gabriel's learning a lot from him and is starting to come into his own. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Look out for them next year, I reckon.
Yeah, I'd love to see what he could do in a fast car where he doesn't start in like P20.
Yeah.
Because if he's making up places in that car.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Imagine if he started like P1.
Yeah, he'd probably finish P1.
Yeah. Go skiing.
You mentioned Hulk being one of the older drivers on the grid.
Yeah.
I saw something, and I didn't really bother researching how true this was, but regarding another older driver on the grid, Fernando Alonso. Did you see? I swear there was a quote from him this week, apparently, saying that everyone knows that he's the top 5 drivers on the grid.
Right.
Did you see that?
No.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I don't know how true it was. I didn't look into it that deeply, but
right.
So I mean, sure, it seems fine, but maybe comes across a little bit arrogant, but maybe F1 drivers are. Maybe you have to be to become an F1 driver. That's fine. My question was, okay, well, firstly, do you agree? Do you think he's in the top 5 drivers on the grid? Because obviously he's not in one of the faster cars, so he certainly doesn't. He's not in the top 5 finishes most weeks.
I think Fernando Alonso is potentially top 5 of all time.
Okay. And then secondly, who are the other 4 he'd be referring to? He said everyone who knows F1 knows I'm in the top 5.
Yep.
And he made it sound like there was a very obvious top 5.
Yep.
And I don't know who they would be.
Okay. I would go Max is number 1. Like right now, Max is just the top dog. I'd say Oscar is a fairly confident second with Lando close behind.
Okay.
I'm then probably going right now, based on like current performances, I'm probably going Charles over Lewis, but I don't really rate Charles too much, but I think he's just doing fairly well in that Ferrari. That's a toss up between him and George, and then Fernando's in there. But Fernando's in there just because he's a fucking guru. Like, no matter what, Fernando's in the top 10, top 5. Okay. Like, he's not done that well this season, but he's still in the top 5 because it's Fernando Alonso. And like, no matter, like, I guarantee if you put him in the McLaren, he would probably beat them both.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from. Whereas I think Lewis is starting to doubt himself and lose it.
Right.
I don't think Fernando's ever lost it.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think if Adrian Newey can put Fernando in a good car next year, Fernando could be the oldest world drivers champion we'll ever see.
Huge call.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, he's against Stroll. Like, come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, sure.
If they have the best car, he's going to beat Stroll. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. Very good. All right, Disc, we've started very positive with the first half of the app. Second half, you just sort of wanted to roast people, was my understanding.
Yep.
Let's start with Mercedes.
Okay.
George won the Canadian Grand Prix like last week.
Yeah, guru.
Yep, guru. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then finished over a minute behind Lando this week. How can things swing that much that fast?
Yeah. Good question. I have no clue.
Okay.
Apparently, Mercedes struggled with the temperatures at Austria. And I know like the altitude is different to Canada, but which can affect performance of like engine. Like, you did like engineering and stuff at university.
No, I didn't do engineering, but I know what altitude means.
Yeah. Do you not know what altitude means?
No, I do.
Oh, okay, right. You made it out like you didn't know what altitude means. Come on. Okay, yeah. Well, the altitude, the temperatures, they can all affect like the performance of the engine. And apparently Mercedes was struggling, which explains why Williams fucking hit the deck. But yeah, that was kind of their excuse all weekend. Just no performance from the car, which was just weird to see when like, but then on the flip of that, let's look at Ferrari. Ferrari was shit in Canada and then had a great car in Austria. So like them two are just mirroring each other at the moment. It's really weird to watch that like battle unfold between them.
Yes.
But I have no explanation for the Mercedes.
All right, thanks. That was very insightful.
Good.
Other thing about Mercedes, Kimi drove into Max.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Yeah.
It was really, did it? Again, I'm not the expert here. I haven't watched a heap of racing. Did that not look really unusual to you for like a crash? It reminded me of a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple of months ago now. I went down to, I got to go and drive around some racetrack in a Toyota Supra.
Yep.
Like making a video for Toyota.
Yep. Great people as well.
Oh, yeah,
like if they want to jump on board, Fool's Pod, obviously.
Yeah, wonderful vehicle. But they, for whatever reason, like I don't do much driving outside of like going from A to B.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they just said like, yeah, mate, just jump in, drive this around the track, see how fast you can go. She'll be right. It was really weird. Anyway, so I'm driving, and there's a bloke in the passenger seat next to me who's good at driving, and he's meant to be like giving instructions, but it's not like he's got a fucking second steering wheel or something. Like there's only so much he can do. Yeah. And I just have no idea what I'm doing about this, like how to go about this track. I get a few laps in and I'm getting like overly confident and just fanging it towards a corner at like maybe say whatever, like 95 kilometers an hour. Yeah. And he's like, you meant to go around this one in second gear. It was like I just forgot to brake, forgot to slow down. I'm trying to just trying to slog it around this corner, and it just like the car just shouldn't have just ended up in a position it should never have been.
Did you spin it around or?
No, just like skidded out a little bit and sort of regathered, which was great. But that's what it felt like watching Kimi. It was like he just forgot to brake. It was like there's a fairly sharp corner there, and he's just like
just torpedoed into the side of Max.
What happened? It was like he just had a mind blank. I was like,
it's actually the complete opposite of what happened. So he didn't forget to brake; he braked too much. So like an uphill corner like that, like you need to apply a fair amount of braking pressure, especially when everyone's going to sweep in front of you, and he was quite far to the right. He hit the brakes too hard, locked his rear axle up, and then the moment his rear axle locked up, it's kind of similar to like aquaplaning on water. So his rear axle just locked, his rear end of the car kind of lifted, and he just had no grip, was not slowing the car down. So his brakes were no longer doing anything for him because they were just skidding along the surface. So yeah, it was the complete opposite of what you would expect. He braked too hard. Yeah. So he should have braked like softer into it, like to eventually get to the same amount of pressure, but slowly applying that brake pressure down instead of going as hard as he did. But yeah, the moment he hit the brake, he said he knew he was a passenger and he was going to hit someone. He just didn't know who he was going to hit. What was funny for me is watching Max in the car be like, I just got hit from behind, fucking idiots. And then he gets out of the car and speaks to the media like 3 hours later. And he's like, oh yeah, like, we've all made this mistake. It's fine. Like, whatever. But in the car, he's like a red hot rage. And he's like, he's going to kill someone.
Yeah. It was also, so I'd love to know what those, like when they were walking off the track and you sort of saw them come together and have like a brief word. I'd love to know what they said then, because surely every part of Max is like, I want to kill you.
Yeah.
But it just seemed so like casual and friendly.
Yeah. Well, they always say that you can tell, like ex-drivers always say you can tell a driver's like how pissed off he is based on whether or not they take the helmet off. And Max straight away took his helmet off, which is like he could have been angry, but like he's not annoyed.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas Kimi left his helmet on, even walking back into the paddock, he left his helmet on, which shows he was pissed off with himself.
Okay.
Apparently, that's what drivers say.
That makes sense.
It does make quite a bit of sense, but yeah, so that's the Kimi thing. Did you also see that Max dodged the media pen for like 3 or 4 hours? He went at the last possible moment he could have gone to it. His excuse, he said, I didn't want to go to the media pen. I didn't want to watch the F1. I was too busy watching the 24 hours of Spa.
Yeah, I saw that. He was like, I didn't really follow the race, actually. I was watching this other one.
Yeah. So there's a sports car race. There was a Red Bull Max Verstappen Porsche or something, like a Red Bull Max Verstappen team Porsche driving in the race. And so he was more interested in that. I mean, fair. It was apparently a good race. I didn't see a lot of it.
Okay. He's an interesting man, old Max.
He's a very interesting man. Ferrari, we spoke briefly about them earlier in the app and during that Mercedes chat. The radio message I was talking about earlier in the app was Charles' engineer said, we need to LICO all corners, Charles, every lap. And he said, that's what I'm doing, Brian. I didn't know his engineer was called Brian, but that's interesting. That's what I'm doing. LICO is lift and coast into each corner. So let's say you would traditionally brake at the 100 meter board before the apex of a corner. You might lift and coast at the 150 for 50 meters or 125 for like 25 meters and then brake into the corner. So that's going to like recharge your battery, but also you're not applying brake pressure. So your tires are going to have less surface temperature. So your tires might last longer into the stint.
Mhm.
This was also kind of what Christian Horner was referring to is this was early in the race. This was like halfway through the first stint.
Mm.
And every other team was pretty much lifting and coasting. Whereas McLaren, we were seeing them not lift and coast and just like fucking slam on the brakes last minute, lock the tires up, like do whatever they wanted to do. Whereas everyone else was struggling to keep the tire temps down.
Right.
And Ferrari especially was struggling because this was the earliest message we'd seen.
Yep. Do you have any explanation for why that might be? Like, surely they're on the same tires as everyone else.
Yeah, they were on the same
Is there-
tires.
Is there something about the car that could make the tires degrade less?
I saw something. Well, so how they set it up and how the like air flows over and into the brake ducts and things like that would be a big thing. But I saw something. Now, please, if you know more on this subject, let me know because I would love to. I need to do more research into it. But apparently, McLaren are playing with this like water cooling technology on the brake drums or something. So it's like mini honeycomb kind of like things, and it has some sort of fluid inside. I don't really know, but apparently I've seen that some head engineer did this at university and or during his masters in engineering or whatever. He like studied it very significantly, and they're now bringing it to the car, and it's like helping them massively. I don't know how true that is, and I need to look into it more. But if that's the case, and they're the only fucking team running this technology, then you better bet that every other team will be looking into it now for next year. So if this is a one season advantage for McLaren, then well done to them. But I imagine everyone will catch up by next year.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
It's like the double DRS. Anyone that the double DRS, the double diffuser back in 2009. So if you've not watched the Brawn documentary on Disney Plus with Keanu Reeves, watch that. Phenomenal. They explain the double DRS very well in that documentary. And it's how Brawn won the championship that season, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Highly recommend. Lewis was also frustrated with the Ferrari strategy, which is nothing new. It is the funniest thing I will ever witness every week. He was begging for a one-stop strategy. They got into a little low-key argument, and his engineer had to put his foot down and be like, "Nah, you fucking pitting, bitch." Not quite like that,
don't
but
think
you
he
know.
said that.
But you know what
it
I'm
was
saying?
a weird conversation. Lewis just kept saying like, why would we box now? I want to stay out. I want to stay out. And the engineer just kept going about box. Just like completely ignored everything he said. It was like,
Yeah, literally.
why would we box? Box. I'd like to stay out. Box. It's just like he was asking questions and just got nothing in return. It was so
Donuts.
weird.
Absolute donuts. And the thing was, Lewis's point was valid. We saw Fernando and Liam both do the one-stop strategy. So like it could have worked. He could have beat Charles.
Yeah.
It was weird that Ferrari didn't want to trust him.
Yeah. I mean, you would be very suspicious of a bloke who's got fucking seven world championships. He wouldn't know what's going on.
He scored like the most points in F1 history. But yeah, I don't trust this guy.
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, very weird. A little explanation to why Ferrari might have been a bit better, though. They did bring a new floor apparently to this race, so that could have been why they were a bit better compared to Mercedes. But yeah, very weird race for them. They were in no man's land, and it just threw me off. Red Bull, Racing Bulls.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about them.
Well, so Racing Bulls are the sister team. They're the number 2. That's where junior drivers go to learn their craft. Yet they scored.
Or where senior drivers who have been in the number 1 team go back to as punishment for not driving the second car fast enough.
Yep.
And then they get to sit there and watch other people not drive the second car very fast.
And they outscored both of the main cars. Yeah, Liam qualified very well, got in P6, as we've already said, ahead of Max and ahead of Yuki, which is no surprise with the Racing Bulls outperforming that second Red Bull seat. But then in the race, like I've just said, Liam pulled off the one-stop strategy, kept his P6 and beat, obviously it's difficult for Max to beat him when he got taken out, but beat Yuki, who finished last 2 laps down from the leaders.
He did have a 10-second penalty.
Well, yeah, that doesn't help.
Nah.
But like 2 laps down.
Yeah.
Like not even Williams did that. We finished 70 laps down.
You are an idiot.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like,
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It's shit.
Like Racing Bulls is kind of, yeah. What do you make? Like what?
I
It
don't
doesn't make
understand.
sense.
Like,
Racing Bulls is kind of better than the Red Bull team.
yeah, there's been a lot of like fake news rumors that like Max could go and test the Racing Bulls to see how he would do in that. And I'm like genuinely now starting to think he should fucking do it. Because, and like, and I know it's so stupid, he wouldn't do it, sponsors and blah, blah, whatever else, but like, Max could fucking win races in that Racing Bulls. And I don't think he's going to win any races for the rest of the season in the Red Bull now.
Right.
Like, I really don't think that Red Bull's that fast.
You reckon?
Just Ferrari and Mercedes are bringing like low-key good upgrades, and McLaren are just gurus. So like, I feel like that Red Bull is fourth fastest. And I think we're going to see teams like Racing Bulls, maybe fucking Sauber, Williams, Haas potentially. Like, I think we're going to see these teams take more points off of Red Bull. I think fucking Sauber have scored the same amount of points in the last 3 races than Red Bull have. I'm sure it's like 20 points even for the 2 teams.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Sauber has 2 drivers
That are good.
That compete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So because my understanding's always been that like the second Red Bull seat is impossible to drive because the car is so set up around Max's driving.
Yep.
And that it's a fantastic car for Max to drive. Yeah. Are you suggesting the car's just not very good at all?
Yeah.
And he should be driving other cars and
Absolutely.
would be faster in
I have never thought for 1 minute they've designed a car around Max. I think it's a stupid thing to do. And if they have done and I'm wrong, then they're fucking idiots. But like, it's a stupid thing to do to design it around one car. Because then just like in this race, when that one car gets taken out or has an engine problem or whatever, your second car's then just dog shit and finishing last. So it's stupid. And also winning a Constructors' Championship doesn't make sense that way. And the Constructors' Championship means more for the team than anything. So yeah, I've never agreed with that anyway. I just think the car has always been dog shit and Max is an absolute weapon and could drive anything. You could put Max in the Flintstones car and he would probably put it on the podium. Like he's an absolute guru. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. Okay.
So yeah, I'm baffled. I'm absolutely baffled by it. Anyway, that brings us on to driver of the day and biggest letdown.
Yep.
And I've just read yours, which is great. So my driver of the day was Hülkenberg for all of the reasons we already said. What did you write, Skin?
I wrote copy paste of your driver of the day and biggest letdown. I thought you did a great job in your selections, Dave. Well done.
Because my biggest letdown was Williams. I did originally write the Mercedes power units, but I'm just going to blame Williams because there was other Mercedes power units on track that didn't do as shit as ours. So I'm going to blame Williams.
Yep.
Do better. I actually love you. If James is listening, I love you all so much. You're doing fantastic.
Oh, just not last weekend.
Just not last weekend. Yeah. Or the weekend before.
Yeah.
Or the weekend before that. Anyway, we're going to have a good Silverstone.
Okay.
Speaking of Silverstone, that is the next race up, and there is quite a few things to look out for here. First things first, Silverstone is a very high-speed track, so it is going to be quite challenging for all the drivers, especially the rookies that we've got. It can be a bit of a head fuck, especially during a race if it's going to be tight. But also on the tyres, there's going to be a lot of tyre management. We've had a lot of punctures at Silverstone in the past. Lewis Hamilton has won a race with literally 3 tyres because his tyres have popped on the last lap. I think that was in 2020 or 21. In 2012 as well, notably, I think there was like 6 or 7 punches during that race. It was throughout different cars. It was crazy. So keep an eye on that. Lewis is going for his 12th consecutive podium finish at Silverstone.
No way.
Yep. From 2014 through to last year, he finished P1, 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 P2, P1, 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 P3, P3, P1. So Lewis is going to be all guns blazing to try and keep that record up. He also just, I don't fucking get it with Lewis. He's special around Silverstone. He just brings something good out of him. It just suits his driving style.
Little home ground advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've never really believed in that shit in F1, but yeah, like genuinely.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's
I mean,
bizarre.
his 2021 P1 was kind of like, stupid. He kind of, he put Max in hospital and everything. So whatever, should have been disqualified. But yeah, look out for that. He's gonna be an absolute weapon. I'm going to assume, especially with them Ferrari upgrades looking decent. It's also going to be an historic weekend at Silverstone because for the first time ever, we are going to have Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, and Formula 4 all competing across the weekend. Not at the same time.
Thank you.
But during the same weekend. which has never happened before apparently at Silverstone, which is quite interesting.
What? I assumed that was the normal thing. When we went to the F1 in Melbourne, there's F2 and 3 and things.
There's only F2 and F3, not F4.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know if this is the first time ever, but the first time ever at Silverstone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about F4? I swear I saw an Instagram video of like a 14-year-old kid driving it.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? It's like quite junior.
Yeah, it's very, very junior. So yeah, that could happen. I don't know too much about it, but that was either Formula 4 or Formula Ford. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Formula 4 would have like 14, 15, 16-year-olds racing in it. Yeah.
Oh, right.
They're not like crazy fast, but they're like, you know, it's the progression. Like it's the progression of like, you know, go-karting, maybe you'll skip over to some Ginettas, which are like tin top cars, but you might skip over, do some of that and then into Formula 4 or Formula Fords. And then you kind of like progress through if you get picked up by a development program.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wraps up another lap at the Formula Fools podcast. We hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did. And it is now your turn to get in touch, to join the Formula Fools family by connecting with us on social media. Next week after Silverstone, I want to do another Listen to the Fools, which is an original segment that we made on this podcast. So please head over to our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you want. Drop us a message, drop us a question, and we will try and answer it next week on the pod. It is at Formula Fools on Facebook and at Formula_Fools on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Beautiful. While you're doing all of that, you're also welcome to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening, Apple, Spotify, places like that. Those things do help a great deal. Thank you.
Go skiing. And thank you for joining us at Formula Fools, where every turn is a chance for a good laugh. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.